What's up, guys? I have a knife review. Holy hell, this guy does knife reviews too? You damn straight I do. And it's been a while since I had one. So, I'm gonna do a review of this Microtech box. No. I'm gonna do a review of the Microtech knife that came in this box, which is a Select Fire, which you guys have seen many times, but you've not yet seen the review, and some of you are patiently awaiting this review to see what I think about the knife. If you don't have the time to watch the full duration of this video, understand I love this knife. It's fantastic. There's a lot I love about it. There's some things I don't like about it, but that's pretty much every knife. It's fantastic. So now, if you're one of these dedicated people who have the time, who want to hear about all the details of the knife, stick around because we're going to be talking about some details. So here's the box for this knife, okay? Microtech, first of all, as a company as a whole, I've been very pleased with the products ever since the beginning. At one point in my life, when I was like 15 or 16 years old, I focused just on Microtech knives. I had probably 7 or 8 different ones, and that was a big deal to me because they're all expensive, but they're very high quality. They've, in my personal opinion, of all the Microtechs I've ever held, and I've held quite a few. I've borrowed some for videos. I personally own many myself. I've handled them at shows. I've handled friends in person before. And they're very consistent with their knives, okay? I've never seen a batch of Microtechs where this one's okay, this one's not so good. No, they're very consistent. You pay a high price tag for a reason, you're getting quality. But anyway, here's a specific model, the Microtech Select Fire. MA stands for manual action, and this one's in Stonewash standard. There's the model number. There's many different flavors of this, different variations on it. This one came from Blade HQ. Their price on this is $299.95. All right, come back. Please come back. I know that's gonna scare a lot of you off. You know, you get what you pay for. And that's not always the case. And I've preached that before. Sometimes you can get a $40 knife and just be over the moon by it and absolutely love it, and it's amazing and high quality and stuff like that. But you know, it's kind of rare to pay $300 or more for a knife and really get a piece of crap. It just doesn't happen. It's just not the case. There's not a whole lot of expensive, crappy knives out there. Once you get past that $100 range, I mean, you may think it's overpriced, but it's like anything else, you know, it's whatever you're willing to pay for it. And I would say with my experience with knives, it's worth every penny of the $300 price tag, and that's actually a good price for this. So anyway, the box, we have a little sleeve, cool little artwork, American flag on there. And yes, these are made in the USA, if I'm not mistaken. I think they went up to Bradford, Microtech, and I want to see if they have anything on the box about that. No, they're made in USA. They don't have like where exactly they're made. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna read this to you. It says, Microtech, no compromises on quality. During our history, Microtech has produced revolutionary tactical knives, and in keeping with our tradition, we continue to introduce new innovative products, striving for excellence. I, Anthony Marifone, and the dedicated Microtech team remain committed to keeping Microtech knives a leader in the industry. And then at the end, quote, we will continue to be one of the world's finest in pioneering creative and innovative designs. Anthony Marifone. Very cool little message. And speaking of innovative designs, this specific knife, and let's just take a look at the knife real quick because I barely am talking about it. I mean, I'm talking about the knife and I'm showing more of the box than the knife. So here's a quick little peek at the knife. This won the most innovative American knife in Blade Show 2011. All right, so no joke with the innovation. Microtech does not cease to amaze me. They come out with some pretty cool stuff. So let's move on. I don't need that anymore. Open the box. Here's something I like. Caution, sharp edge, inspected by, and then Squiggle. I don't personally know Squiggle, but I'm sure he's a fantastic guy. You know, if he's working for Microtech. I like that it's showing that it's inspected by a person. It really means nothing. It's kind of a cool peace of mind, but like I said, I couldn't even, if I had a call and they'd be like, okay, well, who inspected it? I would say, Cho, is that what that reads? Or Mo? Who knows? But it's still a nice gesture. So we take the sheath out. Okay, we have our paperwork in here. Get this garbage out of the way because the box is just garbage. I only save that stuff for videos. Okay, lifetime limited warranty. Okay, this is important. This is something we're going to go over with this knife, is their warranty, because of one specific thing that a lot of you know about their knives. It's getting pretty annoying. Yeah, we'll look at that later, but we'll keep that handy and at close reach. Okay, most Microtechs, if not all of them, come with their own Microtech belt pouch. It's a pretty neat little thing. A lot of knives don't come with the option of having a belt pouch. It's very tactical. If you have some kind of gear loaded up on a vest or something, it's a very cool addition. You know, you can throw this on your pack and have a nice form-fitting case for your knife. It's a nice little knife case. I personally don't use these, okay? Like a lot of you guys out there, I'm using the pocket clip, but if you were interested in carrying this on your belt or something, I mean, obviously it fits in there like it should. It's got the, you know, the snap, and then on the bottom here, it's Velcroed. You can actually pull this to tighten it down. What's cool about this is that I would actually use this with a larger knife. If you have a knife that's much larger than this, and it's very heavy, this actually could come in handy, and it's a very nice design sheath. All right, so let's say you do have a larger one, and it only comes up to like here or something because it's sticking out more. You know, you can, of course, adjust this any way you want, and then you'd click it in, and cinch down the strap here, and then the Velcro so it's not flopping in the wind. So it is a nice design, and on the back you have your Velcro belt loop system, and then there's their little logo. So yeah, I don't personally use them. They are fantastic if you wanted that. It's not quick to get to. It's not, you just flip the top open and you get to it, but it is definitely secure having the actual buckle system on here. So it's good for longevity, but I'm not a huge sheath person, so let's get rid of that. All right, before I even get into much of this knife, I have to point out one thing that's gonna be obvious. Now bear with me, you guys are gonna cringe. It's part of the review because it's something I found out about this knife on accident, okay? As a lot of you are aware, Microtech uses proprietary hardware. What does that mean? If you happen to be 11 watching this and you don't know what proprietary means. It just means it's their own design, okay? They don't use flatheads, they don't use Phillips head, they don't use Torx bits. They use their own custom screws, okay, to assemble their knives. They're very expensive, and I'll elaborate more on this later, but basically I did not have the proprietary tools to adjust this knife. As you guys know, I abused the heck out of this, which created some play, and I wanted to take this knife apart because I think I know what the problem is here. And it's not so much with the frame being bent or anything like that. I think it's more the lock bar itself had loosened up because it's attached to the inside of the handle separately. But I wanted to take it apart myself, and in doing so, I grabbed some pliers. Yes, start cringing. And I grabbed the pivot screw, and in one slight turn, it slipped off and completely stripped the frame. Okay, so what does that tell me? First of all, dummy, if you want to do this, do it the right way. But unfortunately, these tools are like $100, okay? And I wasn't interested in spending $100 on getting a tool to take my knife apart. But I also learned that the aluminum handle scales on this are very soft, okay? To be able to do that, that's literally on one twist. I'm putting some pressure on it, and it slipped, it gave way, and it went like this. Well, it didn't make a squirt noise, but it went, I don't know what the appropriate noise there would be. You fill in whatever you thought it sounded like. But yeah, in one fell swoop, bam. So it's a soft aluminum on here. Now, a lot of times on most knives, you'll have a aluminum body, and they'll be, you know, hard anodized, okay? And there's different levels, and a lot of times you'll see type 3. You'll see more specifics on anodization on flashlights, and you'll hear a lot about that. You know, type 3 hard anodized, and that's like a military grade, you know, hard shell of anodization on your aluminum, you know, or in some cases titanium. But I don't know what they're doing with this, but it's not super hard. It's really soft. So that also tells me that if you were to drop this on concrete or a very hard surface, say on the corner, it would most likely dent. And obviously having a black finish like this, once you dent that surface in, it will show through and it'll look crappy. or at least it'll look damaged. All right, so just something to note. Please, please, please do not take this as some kind of inferior quality. Overall, this is a very, very high quality, fantastic knife. But I have to say, just in proof, it's not the best anodization on this aluminum on the handles, okay? And that's not an assumption, it's just proof right there. So, now it's out of the way, because I know you guys could be staring at it and going, oh my God, what did he do? What did he do? And look, I probably not the first person to ever try that, okay? Some people get frustrated in the fact that they don't want to spend $100 on a special custom tool to take their Microtechs apart. And you know what, let's just get into this right now since I'm on the subject. Yes, obviously they have a proprietary hardware, okay? You can see it's kind of a, I don't know, the shape reminds me of cat treats. If you have cats out there and you get the little bag of treats, that's kind of what it looks like. And then smaller versions for the body screws here. And on the reverse, no surprise, we got the same thing. Now, different Microtech models, and even the pocket clip screw, or screws, because there's two. Different Microtech models have different designs. One of their earlier ones and most commonly used one is not this shape. It's actually a series of holes. It's like a holes in a series of a triangle. Kind of like the Predator when he uses his laser, you know, if you ever saw Predator. Looks just like that. But yeah, you need these custom tool bits to be able to properly take these apart. Now, let's look at that warranty again. Lifetime limited warranty. All right, your Microtech knife is warranted to the original purchaser. Proper registration will serve as proof of purchase in the event your original receipt becomes misplaced. So right off the bat, you do need to register your knife if you want to have it fixed because of some kind of, say, factory error or problem off the assembly line. Any knife returned for warranty consideration must have, in bold letters here, must have an assigned return authorization number, which can be obtained from our website. Any automatic knife return must include a copy of the owner's active military or police identification. Now, as you guys may or may not know, a lot of times, well, in most cases, at least in the United States and probably elsewhere, to buy or purchase automatic knives, and even though this is manual, there are many automatic versions. Technically, you're supposed to be, you know, military or police to be able to buy them, or in some cases, handicapped. If you have one arm or one hand, you can legally have automatic knives. But as far as warranty concerns go, a lot of times you do need, in this case specifically, proof that you are legally able to own that knife, okay? So what else do we have here? All returns within the continental US must include $10 per knife for the return, shipping, and handling. Microtech products are warranted against defects in workmanship and materials. Okay, Microtech will not warranty products due to loss, damage caused by abuse, neglect, misuse, accident, improper blade sharpening, or disassembly. And in big, bold letters on the bottom, disassembly will void warranty. Okay? And then real tiny, an asterisk, which was at the end of what? Somewhere on there. But anyway, it says, costs and requirements of return may change without notice. So, interesting. They don't hide the fact that they don't want you to take their knives apart, okay? That's clearly known. Now, there's a reason for that. A lot of you out there would be really upset with that idea. That sucks. I want to take my knife apart. It's so stupid. I hate Microtech knives. I'll never get one because I'm not going to buy a $100 tool. That's a very simple go-to answer, which a lot of you will feel the same way about. You'll think it's ridiculous that you have to buy a separate tool, which, like I said, can be $100 or more in some cases. If you buy the set of tools to take apart a bunch of their models, you're talking a lot of money. And you might think it's stupid that they don't let you take your knives apart. I get their concept by it. I personally like to tinker with my own knives. I like to take them apart for cleaning, and in this specific case, to fix them myself. But the concept behind it is they make it hard to take apart because they don't want you to take it apart. If you have a problem with it, they want to look at it themselves and they want to make sure that the problem was not caused by you. That's to ensure that you don't take their knife, do something like I did, abuse the heck out of it, and then give it back and say it's a piece of junk, give me a new one, or give me money back. They're trying to avoid that as a company. as far as the proprietary hardware, it may be a hit for a lot of you. A lot of you would see that definitely as a negative thing, but I think because they don't hide, there's no secrets about it, okay? Right in their warranty policy here, it says right there, disassembly will void warranty. They're definitely dissuading you from taking your knife apart, okay? And if you do something like I try to do, take it apart yourself, causing damage, forget about it. And I have contacted them, and I was very honest with them, and they said, sorry, we can't do anything for you. You abused the knife, it voided the warranty. Thank you for buying our knife anyway. So, yeah, people would take that as a hit. I understand the concept. It's just across the board in the knife industry, it's a little different than what a lot of companies do. A lot of companies will work with you. Okay, a lot of companies are a little bit more lenient on the fact that the damage caused to the knife may have been by you, it may have been by misuse, but more times than not, they'll work with you. If you're nice to them and you give them a nice letter or you talk to them on the phone, they'll probably fix it up for you, you know, very minimal charge, if any. A lot of knife companies will end up fixing your knives, or in most cases, they don't even bother fixing them. They just toss them, they give you a brand new one, and they want to keep you as a return customer. And that's cool, that's awesome. Microtech, you know, it's a very expensive knife. It's a lot of work that goes into one, and they don't want you messing with it. You as the consumer, you may disagree with that, but they want basically, if they're going to fix it or replace it on their dime, they want to make sure that they screwed up. That's the whole point of this, okay? Then you may ask, well, why are they still selling custom tools? Well, that's kind of like, well, look, if you want to fix it yourself, cool, that's fine. Here, now you have to buy a custom part, and that's just what it costs. It's just supply and demand. These are what they cost. People do buy them. There's many people out there who buy these Microtech sets. If they're into the knives and they want to tinker with them themselves, they'll spend the extra money to get one. And if I had the money, I'd certainly get one myself. It's kind of like, look at guns. You know, there's a Glock sight removal tool. It's like $100. And you might think, well, what am I going to spend $100 to take one sight off? Well, that's not the idea. The idea is that you love Glocks. You'll have multiple Glocks, and that's an investment for you as a tool. It's really no different. You know, if you're going to have multiple Microtechs, or if you want to invest in one Microtech and you want the option to take it apart, then sure, you just got to throw up that extra money to get the tools. So I personally don't like it, obviously. It was a hindrance to me. I wanted to fix this knife. I was not able to do so myself, and I damaged it further by trying to MacGyver it. You know, it's not going to work. So anyway, that's enough said about that. I think across the board, most people do not like that, and they do not like the fact that they cannot take it apart. I understand that. That would be a negative for the knife, okay? So anyway, yes, this is the manual action select fire. Okay, you saw this in a lot of testing and abuse videos that I did. This specific version has a 3.5 inch S35 VN blade in Stonewash. The first thing I want to talk about this knife, the biggest thing with this knife, besides the overall fit and finish and quality and everything else, this blade steel is just amazing. Microtech specifically, because I've had two other cases where I've tried S35 VN. In both cases, they were fantastic. But I don't know what they did with this blade. You've seen everything I did with this, and I kid you not. I crap you not. I did not sharpen this, touch this up, strop it, nothing. Everything I did, all the tests, in addition to actually carrying this and EDCing this before and after my testing, without sharpening it, touching up at all, ever, it's still razor sharp. Obviously avoided my warranty, don't need my registration card. It's ridiculous. It's just really awesome. I love it. To me, it's like a miracle steel. It just does not get dull. It's fantastic. The blade shape is a little funky. It's different. Obviously, I'm attracted to it because it's different. Not everyone's cup of tea. It's got a nice belly here. You do have some curvature, which makes it, it's a plain edge blade. I don't find it's hard to sharpen or touch up at all. The reverse Tanto style top here actually does add some strength for penetration. As you see, I never had any problems with the tip. Tip never chipped off or anything like that. Okay, pretty wide stock there. Besides the blade, the handle here is 5.5 inches long. As I mentioned before, it's aluminum, and yes, it's on the soft side. I have to give that a hit because I've had both flashlights and other knives in aluminum that were Type 3 hard anodized, and they did not. They weren't affected like that. If I were to do the exact same thing, and even with the metal needle nose pliers, torqued it a little bit, I would not get the damage like I have on that. So definitely a softer finish on this aluminum. This model has the carbon fiber inlays on the handle. Pretty cool. Very snazzy. This specific model has the plain kind of bead blasted back. I have seen other flavors of this knife with colored ones. I've seen, I think, a red one and a green spacer. I don't like the color because it's kind of random to me, the ones that have a colored spacer on the back. But yeah. Besides that, it is a little bit on the heavier side, 5.8 ounces. Honestly, in the pocket, I didn't find that it felt heavy. It carries pretty well. And of course that makes it 9 inches overall. The lockup right now is crappy because of the blade play from my abuse. But out of the box, this thing locked up like a bank vault. It could not possibly lock up any better than it did. And I want to come in close and show you this. And one day I will get the tool or give it to someone, but I will take this apart and give you a better view of this. But if you see the base of the tang on the blade, the cutout for the lock bar is, I mean, it's literally matched up perfectly to this. Okay, it's attention to detail. It's just amazing. What I think happened is with the abuse, specifically the batoning and the constant pressure on the back, the lock bar is separate inside the handle. It's a completely separate piece of metal. Okay, it's obviously like a liner lock, but it is thicker, but it's separate, so it's connected or screwed in on the inside of the frame. And I think what happened is those screws got loose, which created the play, the up and down play, which in return gave me the blade play. So if I could take the knife apart, I'm sure I can tighten those down and remedy this problem. But it says a lot to know that even with the blade play on this knife, I still carry it. Shh, don't tell anyone. I love this knife. I absolutely love this knife. It's got these huge oversized thumb studs, okay, which is kind of funky. Not really liking how big they are. I think they're unnecessarily big. But you know what? There's so many knives out there that are flippers, and I'm kind of getting tired of the flipper thing. I'm kind of going back to the thumb stud action. I don't think, even though they're huge, they're kind of low profile. They don't stick up that much, and I don't think that the grooves on here are very aggressive at all. So there's been times where I went to flick this open and I actually, slipped off the thumb stud. So even though they're huge, they look like big old, pills or something that your grandmother would take. It doesn't offer a whole lot of grip. And it kind of just, I don't know why, it just reminds me of the mole from Austin Powers on what was the kid from Wonder Years? Can't think of his name, but you know that character, and he's got the mole, and Austin Powers, or maybe it was Dr. Evil, or whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's just kind of, it's a little ugly on such a beautiful knife. It's just a little out of place to me. But anyway, the handle design here, kind of Batman-esque, funky, different, sharp angles here. I have to say it's very comfortable. It offers a lot of grip. You can choke up on this finger choil. One thing I did notice is this, the bottom of the choil here. It's not like on Spyderco's, it's usually like a perfect half moon, which offers perfect comfort. Here you have a half or a quarter circle, and then it's a straight line. So it's not as comfortable, but the bottom is rounded, so it does not poke into you, which is nice, okay? And even if you had fatter fingers than me, I don't think it would be much of an issue. Plenty of jimping on this knife. On the top, you have a thumb ramp as well as the jimping, which is aggressive enough. Between, of course, the thumb ramp and jimping and the finger choil, you lock in pretty good. Your hand's not going anywhere. You're not going to slip on this. That whole back spacer has a lot of grooves and jimping on it as well. In a reverse grip, you see this matches up to the curvature of your thumb naturally. So when you are stabbing into this, which I happen to do for the destruction tests, it was very comfortable with or without gloves. So pretty cool. So yeah, overall it's got a comfortable fit. You can choke up on it or hold it back here depending on what you want to do. I like that. Like I said, originally the lockup was perfect, spot on. The blade shape kind of funky, but still useful. It still has enough belly. Fantastic slicing, and definitely has some extra strength for penetration if you were to stab with this or use it for any kind of penetrating. Obviously the hits on it are the softer aluminum finish and the proprietary hardware. Besides that, I love the knife. I absolutely love the knife. It carried very well, but I do have to comment, I do not like the flared out, squared off pocket clip, okay? In the pocket, First of all, I thought it looked pretty cool too. I mean, this is what's sticking out of your pocket. It's kind of funky. I mean, you could tell it's a knife, but it's somewhat futuristic. It's kind of Star Trek-y to me, but not in a bad way, in a cool way. But it perfect tension on this, and it's smooth all behind here. Too many knives today, too many tactical knives that are grip central. They just rip your pants up, they're hard to get out. This has great tension, and it's perfectly smooth aluminum behind it, okay? So slipping this in and out of your pocket is a dream. And when it releases, it has a nice crisp little click. You know, when that pocket clip finally gets off the material and just kind of snaps like that. That's exactly what it sounds like, coming out of your pocket. It's beautiful, it's very comfortable to carry, but I just don't like that it's a little bit bigger. I did rub the corner of the pocket clip on two things. Once at work, I actually put a little scrape in the wall because I was walking by someone. They have a cart in the aisle, and it's kind of a tight fit, so I was walking around the cart, and I kind of just scraped it along the wall, which made a little mark in the wall. And I also scraped this on my doorway, walking through my house when I was going to work in the morning. So yeah, flared out just a little bit, not a huge deal, but it is a comfortable carry, and the pocket clip works fine. It's, I think it looks good. Some knives, I just don't like the way the pocket clips look. I don't know what it is. It's just, they're totally functional, but they look funky. Sometimes they look great and they don't work great. Obviously, as you can see here, it is from the factory in a tip-up right-hand position. We flip it over and we notice that that's all you have. Okay, because of this design here, you can't swap it anywhere. If you're lefty, oh well, you gotta carry it in your pocket. If you like tip down, oh well. But at least, you know, the majority of us do like a tip up knife, so not a huge deal for most of us. Having this pointed end here, this can easily be used as a, well, it's on the front too, for an improvised impact weapon. This is talked about a lot. It's a very cool addition. It's something you'll probably never ever use, but it's still fascinating. Yes, probably one of the best folding knives. Actually, with most folding knives, I would actually have it with the spine of the blade on the inside of my palm is the most comfortable way to hold if you were to use this for impact. It's like a skull crusher or whatever. You can use it with pressure points if you know a little bit about martial arts and self-defense tactics, you know, hand-to-hand combat stuff. Very acute and pointed on both ends. Okay, so you can definitely use this to crack some skulls, but you won't ever. Come on, let's be honest. You're never gonna use it like that. You're gonna carry it around, think it's cool, and love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. 300 bucks, guys. I'm gonna be honest and say it's worth every penny. It definitely offers something in design that a lot of other knives don't. If nothing else at all, if the design is okay to you and it's pretty cool, but you're one of these people who are just focused on function, absolutely. The blade shape is very functional. It's very versatile. The blade steel, that S35 VN, is definitely by far my favorite blade steel to date, and I've used many. I have not used all. There's probably 4 or 5 that I have never used before, and I want to you know, compare them. But to date, this is my favorite blade steel. It's been the best performing out of anything. No problems at all. No chipping. No rolling. Nothing like that. Like I said, it's still ridiculously scary sharp even after all this time and all this abuse, and no problems with it at all. And you can see this blade, and I never cleaned it, never did anything with this. I really neglected this knife because it was going to be a abuser and a beater knife. And a lot of times you guys do, I mean, this knife looks like your $5 Chinese knives because you're too afraid to take your $50 or $60 knife and use that. You're afraid to take your $100 knife and use that. This is a $300 knife. And I couldn't be happier that it's kind of beat up because it's just an excuse to actually use the thing instead of, you know, looking at it in a display case. So, like I said, even with the slight blade play, well, not slight, it's pretty significant blade play, I still love it. I don't know about now. Out of the box is perfectly centered. And now it's pretty damn close. Pretty darn close, sorry. Slightly off to the one side, but you can see even with all that abuse, I like it. I'll always like it. And this is one of those knives I think I'll have for a very long time. I have one idea. And if there's someone out there who does knife work who happens to have this set, I do have a slight idea for a future charitable type dealio. But if that doesn't work out, I'll always have this knife because it's a fantastic user And I'm just, like I said, I'm glad I have an excuse to actually break out a high-end folding knife and use it without worrying about scratches or worrying about devaluing it. You know, this lost a good chunk of its value in its current state. I mean, it's pretty junked up, you know, but it's still a fantastic functional knife. So I love it. I think if you guys got one and you did not abuse it, you know, I know the Cajun Blaze, Brian, he got this knife after seeing my review on it and talking to a couple of his friends, and you know, he picked it up, couldn't be happier with it. It's an amazing knife, and he uses it how you should use it, like a knife. He doesn't baby it, but he doesn't abuse it either. And it's been performing very, very well for him. So anyway, that's it. If you guys do own this knife or you do buy this knife in the future, please make a video response. Give me your opinions on it, your thoughts. Is it everything you expected? Is it, you know, does it fall short in some way? I really don't think, as far as performance is concerned, that you'll be unhappy or unsatisfied with this knife. And like I said, if you are one of these people who just, you have to get into it and take it apart and tinker with it and stuff, invest in the tools. It may not be your last Microtech knife, you know. And the cool thing with the tools, like I said, I can't invest in it right now, but they retain their value, like the knives themselves. You may pay $100 for the you know, the bits set for this. But you'll probably be able to get your money back for it even a year from now or 2 years from now. Or you trade the bit set for new knives, who knows. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the review. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.